You and results for July 17th, 2017. Tonight we saw an okay show. I was ready to go to bed at about 9:30, I'll be honest. There was a few good segments, but other than that, I didn't really care. Um we'll start out with the main event and then we'll make our way from the beginning of the show to the end of the show, recapping it with the main event. So in the main event, we see a number one contenders match for the Universal Championship between Roman Reigns and Samoa Joe. The match itself was good. It started out with some working holds by Joe that kind of wear Reigns down, and then things started to pick up. Let me look at my notes here, make sure I don't miss out on anything. So we get to one point in the match where Joe's in a working hold, and then Roman makes a comeback, and Joe rolls out of the ring. And Reigns kind of hops out of the ring and goes for his drive-by move where he jumps up onto the apron and boots you in the face. Joe kind of suckered him in and hit him with a big clothesline, followed up by a clothesline by Reigns after he got back up. We get back into the ring. They're trading near falls after Reigns hits a Samoan drop. They're trading near falls, and then Braun Strowman comes back. Braun Strowman comes back. We didn't see him last week, so he is appearing for the first time since Great Balls of Fire, since his ambulance match with Roman Reigns. And he just comes and lays waste to both these guys. You see a variation of different moves. He goes one-on-one with Reigns first, kind of beats him up. Then he turns his attention to Joe. And then he gets them both back in the ring, which I do want to make note of because Braun takes Roman and he picks him up by his chest, by his the chest protector that he wears, and he throws him into the ring, but he does it between the top and middle rope, which is no small task because that's above Braun's head, and Roman is not a small guy. I mean, but we already knew that Braun was super strong. So it's super impressive to see. So he gets both guys in the ring, and then he hits him with a power slam, a running power slam. He hits both of them with multiple, and they're kind of just laid to waste. But then he picks Reigns back up, and he hits him one more time with a power slam, and they have security guards come out and try to talk him down, and he hits this power slam again, and then he just leaves the ring. So as far as I'm concerned, the main event for SummerSlam's been set. We'll have a fatal four-way for the Universal Championship, where Brock Lesnar will defend against Braun Strowman, Roman Reigns, and Samoa Joe. I don't see how they can do it any other way. So we have that to look forward to. This was one of the positive sides of the show. Other than that, there wasn't really a whole lot to look forward to. We have the Kurt Angle secret revealed, which was good. It wasn't what I thought was going to happen, but it was good. It was very quick, though. It didn't take up very much time on the show. Didn't need to. It was effective, but it was quick. Kurt came out, said his thing. It happened, and then that was it. They're doing something after the show that I'm not going to watch, but so there's that. I think that's kind of why they did that. But moving on here. So we go to the beginning of the show. We get a video package kind of hyping up and recapping everything that's been going on with Angle over the last little while. All leading up to them saying that he's going to be on the show tonight, telling the truth and kind of coming clean. And so then we move to Dean Ambrose coming out to the ring with a steel chair that he likes to call Steely Dan. Steely Dan, the steel chair. Awesome. I don't get it. Whatever. So we get a recap of what happened last week during the Mizzies, where Rollins and Ambrose were attacked by the Miztourage. This leads into the main event where Rollins and Ambrose are again attacked by the Miztourage, and then we get to Ambrose's promo, and he cuts this promo, and he begs for the Miz to pop out, and he said he's going to beat his ass and pop his Hollywood bubble and send him back to the real world really quick. For those of you that don't know, the Miz kind of got his start into the WWE through the real world. He was on the real world, and then he got his trial in the original like NXT kind of what was it called? Not important. Anyways, then Rollins comes out. I'm just gonna bring this over here. So Rollins comes out, and he's like, Dean, you got to come up with a better plan. You can't be, just reacting to everything that happens and expecting things to go well. You got to pick your battles better. And you can't be looking to a fight that you're not going to win. And so Ambrose says this is his battle and Rollins should find his own. It's all right so far. Ambrose goes into talking about the Shield and how his brothers always had his back, and then he doesn't recognize who Rollins is. He's not his brother that he knew in the Shield, and so we kind of get a recap of that, and then we have Rollins, kind of saying he's sorry, saying that was 3 years ago. It's time to move on. What do I got to do to make you? What do I got to do to make you move on like the rest of us have? And so Rollins says, I'm done talking. I'm going to let my actions speak for themselves. And he turns around. He turns his back on Ambrose, and he's like, hit me with the chair. Take as many shots as you want to get it all out of you. And Ambrose throws the chair out of the ring, and the Miztourage comes out. And so then we have the Miz going on and saying this was a touching scene. It could be a country song. You have these two brothers that betray each other, and then they come back together. And he's mocking Nashville at this point because we're live in Nashville, Tennessee. He says, what does he say here? Dean, you just react to things, and I may not be an architect, but I have a plan. And so Curtis Axel and Bo Dallas go to the other sides of the ring. They pull out steel chairs, and excuse me, goodness. Then we see the beatdown of Ambrose and Rollins, and that was that. I'm assuming we'll see a triple threat at SummerSlam for the Intercontinental Championship. It's okay. I don't care. I don't care. Why is Ambrose still there? I mean, I get that he's involved in this somehow, but I don't care about it. Um, Miz hits a skull-crushing finale to Rollins on a chair. He hits Ambrose with a chair shot, and then they walk off. Backstage, we have an interviewer trying to get in a word with The Miz and the Miztourage, and he said he's not going to talk to him, and that everything he said he had to say, he just did to Rollins and Ambrose. And that was that. Moving on now, we have a match between Bayley and Alexa Bliss. Nia Jax joins them at ringside. Sasha Banks comes out and attacks Nia Jax from behind. This leads to a distraction. Bayley wins after a Bayley to belly. Clean, simple, whatever. It's done. Still don't care because it's whatever. Do we see Bayley get a title shot at SummerSlam? I don't know. We'll find out next week because Kurt Angle scheduled a match between Sasha and Bayley for next week to determine the number one contender for SummerSlam. Okay, where do we go now? We go back to the announcer's desk. We see Corey Graves leaves. He goes backstage, and now he's having a conversation with Kurt before he goes out and makes his announcement. And he says to Graves, Kurt says, your friendship means a lot to both of us. And even though he was having second thoughts about telling the truth and revealing his secret. But Graves says it's a good idea. And so he kind of talked him back into it. And then we cut back. So now we have a backstage segment with the Titus Worldwide crew. I don't care. We have a match that doesn't even go 3 minutes. We have Drew Gulak, who shaved his beard, and Brian Kendrick against Gentleman Jack Gallagher and Mustafa Ali. Enzo Amore cut a promo that was longer than this match. I don't care about the 205 Live division. I don't care about the Cruiserweight division. Get rid of that show. I don't care about that. I'd rather watch some real genuine content from Talking Smack after SmackDown Live than watch 205 Live or anything that Raw does with the Cruiserweights. I don't care. Braun Strowman. Look at that. Braun Strowman wins the Fatal 4-Way. I could see it happening. Anyways, we're moving on here. Enzo cuts a promo talking about Big Cass, and he kind of goes over what happened to Big Cass last week in his battle with the Big Show, and he said that Cass had his checkbook and the check bounced. He said, when the tough got going, you folded like a lawn chair. Actually, you're more like a big fluffy couch, and that's because there's only one word to describe you. SAWFT, soft. And Cass comes out. And Cass goes to Graves at the announce desk, who's back at his desk, and he says, look, this is on you. If you had kept your mouth shut, none of this would have happened. And so then Cass comes into the ring. Enzo kind of eggs him on, saying you want to fight. And he makes a reference and he says, I'm not your average bear, okay, boo-boo. And then he kind of hops over the guardrail, and he's sitting in the crowd now. And he kind of planned it out. And so the Big Show comes out, and they have a brawl that I didn't care about. It was entirely too long. They should have given that time to the Cruiserweights, but they decided that this was more important. So this brawl kind of started with the Big Show dominating, throwing him into the barricades, and then it was slow, and it was boring, and Big Cass winds up making the Big Show bleed, and that's that. Don't care. That feud should be over. Big Cash should still be with Enzo. That's about it. So now we go to the backstage segment with Roman Reigns. The interviewer brings up the fact that he's lost to Samoa Joe twice, and Reigns basically says, "Look, when push comes to shove and it's crunch time, it's when I'm at my best. And after I beat Samoa Joe, I'm going to go on to SummerSlam and beat Brock and become the Universal Champion. And that's because I am the big dog and this is my yard." Really compelling stuff, WWE. Really compelling. Did you guys think of that on your own? I bet it was Kevin Dunn. Fucking idiot. Okay. Now we go to a different kind of backstage segment here. Ambrose and Rollins are kind of arguing. Kurt comes in. He's like, "Look, I got a lot of stuff going on. You guys get any two members of the Miz Taraj in a match." And Ambrose is like, "Why not all three?" So we get a 2-on-3 handicap match next week between Reigns. I keep on saying Reigns, the damn Shield. With Rollins and Ambrose against the Miz and the Miz Taraj. That's about it. Moving on here. This was another good segment. I like this segment. Elias Sampson's in the ring, and he has written a song about his history with Nashville, but we don't get to hear it because Finn Balor interrupts. So then we have a match, and it ends in a DQ. The match was good, but this match ends in a DQ. Sampson ends up out on the floor, and he hits Balor with his guitar. And this shot was rough. Like, he did not hold anything back here. And he didn't hit the spot either. He hit Balor kind of on the shoulder, side of the head, busted Balor open. It was bad. It was a brutal shot. It was not pretty. And so we see Sampson kind of holding his guitar as he's walking up the ramp. And then we have the little screamy promo video intro thing for Bray Wyatt. And he cuts this really good promo, basically saying that he's going to punish Finn Balor. And so it looks like we're going to get the Eater of Worlds versus the Demon King, Finn Balor, at SummerSlam. Interesting matchup, but why do I care? What's it for? What are they fighting over? If anything, we should be building on an Extreme Rules match or a stipulation match between Sampson and Balor. But they're going this direction, so that's what we're going to get. He wants to put Balor in pain and in agony, and he feels the need to punish him. He says that they mentioned the Demon King in Irish mythology, and then he says, "I'm not a myth, I'm real." And he's going to call upon all the beasts and the devil himself, and he's going to bring it all upon Balor. And so that was that. But this was a really good segment. I liked the promo that he cut. It was good. But once again, what are they fighting over? Why do I care? Why? Why do I care? Balor is a great entertainer. He's a great wrestler, great worker. Bray's great on the mic, good worker as well. But I don't have anything to invest in here. Next up, we have a backstage segment that shows Sasha and Bayley arguing over who should face Alexa at SummerSlam because they both hold victories over her. And Angle's like, "You guys decide. I don't care. You guys are going to have a match next week for the number one contendership for SummerSlam." Moving on here, we get a backstage segment with the Revival. And they talk about why they attacked the Hardys. They felt hurt because the Hardys acted like they didn't know who they were last week when they saw them. And they say that now the Hardys do know. And after this week, we'll know even more. This leads to a match between Akira Tozawa and Arya Daivari. It was quick. Ref calls a stoppage to the match because Tozawa hurts his shoulder. Titus O'Neil hops up on the apron, tells the ref to stop the match, so he stops it. And this leads to turmoil between O'Neil and Tozawa. I don't care. It's boring. I don't care about Titus O'Neil. I don't care about Akira Tozawa. Whatever. Kurt Angle comes out to the ring. He's going to come clean about his secret. And so he first apologizes to the WWE Universe for being a distraction over the last little while. And he speaks about how actions have consequences and how the actions of his past are now having consequences that are going to affect his future. He talks about dating a girl in college, and then they break up. But before they break up, she gets pregnant. She has a kid. He doesn't know about it. She offers him up to for adoption. He was raised up by a family, and they taught him great American values, and he went on to have a successful career. He was a 3-sport athlete. He got good grades in school. He even got drafted to play in the MLB. But instead, he decides to go to college, and he becomes a successful wrestler. And after wrestling in college, he decides to pursue his dream to become a WWE superstar. And so at this point, he introduces to the universe the newest member of Raw, his son, Jason Jordan. I thought it might have been Chad Gable if they were going to do it, but this makes sense too. I mean, it does and it doesn't. I understand it's not his child, but it's okay. I'm okay with this. I'd rather see this than Dixie Carter. Despite the reports that Dixie Carter was confirmed to be on the show. So that was obviously a work by Bischoff. I'm tired. I didn't care about this. I was ready to go to sleep at 9:30. About the show in general. There was a few good spots, but I'm tired. Ready to go to bed. So we get that. Jason Jordan is the son of Kurt Angle, and they have an embrace in the ring, and Angle's crying, and Jordan's crying, and it's touching. Here's my question, though. An interesting thought here, I think. Do we see Angle and Jason Jordan work together now in a heel role with Jordan getting a push? The guy can work in the ring. He's great. He's athletic. He's awesome. He's phenomenal. Do we see him get a push? At least to the mid-card title scene. I can see that without a doubt in my mind. Something to think about. It is something to think about. Because I don't know what else they're going to do with this. What else can they do? Hey, he's my son. All right, you're on Raw now. Just hang out in the back. No, I don't see them making such a big deal about it. Maybe we see this lead to something involving Kurt Angle in a match. I would hope so at WrestleMania. He better have a match with a younger talent. I don't know. Maybe we see this turn into a feud between him and Jason Jordan at some point, and they have a match at WrestleMania. We'll find out. Just my initial thoughts on that. We have the Hardys versus the Revival. The Revival works on Matt's leg for a majority of the match. We get a hot tag from Jeff. This leads to Jeff going for a swanton. He gets bumped off the turnbuckle. This leads to what, in my thoughts, was a botched finish. Dawson rolls up Jeff Hardy. He rolls up Jeff Hardy, and it looks like he grabbed the tights, but then it looks like Jeff kind of rolled underneath. But we get the Revival winning via pinfall on a roll-up. It was a good match. Very, very traditional, old-school style tag team match. Nothing crazy. We didn't even see the Shatter Machine tonight. And then that leads to the main event. That was it. On the scale of this show, I say it's here somewhere. It was okay. It was okay. Nothing got me really excited other than the fact that Strowman came back. I was on my phone half the time. I took a lot of notes, but I was on my phone half the time. Why should I care about half the stuff that they're doing? I don't know. Because they haven't given me any content that I should care about lately. And it's frustrating. Because I've watched this for a majority of my life. And to see the decline in storylines and in the things that are happening, it's frustrating. I'm not going to stop watching because that's not going to solve anything. One person stopping watching the program isn't going to help anything. So the final segment was good. The Angle segment was okay. I liked the Balor, Elias Sampson, Wyatt segment. That was good. I think there's kind of some logic twists that need to be worked out there. I think that Sampson and Balor need to have a rematch at least. That's about it. I didn't really care too much about this show. A couple spots piqued my interest, but that's about it. So, Fatal 4-Way for the Universal title at SummerSlam. I think it's confirmed. I don't see how it can't be after this. But that's going to be it. So, I'm gonna call it a night. I got to be to work in the morning, and I need to sleep because I have not slept well lately. And so, yeah, we're done here. I'm gonna have the Raw or the SmackDown live review up tomorrow. After that goes off the air, I'll probably push out a Call of Duty video or a WWE 2K17 video tomorrow. So stay tuned for those. If you like this review, if you like the other videos on my channel, please be sure to hit that thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. And if you have anything if you want to help me out, give me criticisms, critiques, advice of any kind, do so in the comment section. But until next time, this is Zickety Z signing off. Y'all have a good night, and I'll see you tomorrow night for the SmackDown Live review.